Sa ferrous metal, there are wrought iron and cast iron. Wrought iron is formed by heating strip continuously. In contrast to cast iron, wrought iron is an iron alloy with a very low carbon concentration. Ang wrought iron is common use sa candle holders, curtain rods, and decorative ironwork na makikita natin sa mga gate natin, makikita natin siya sa gate. Yung mga yung mga design, wrought iron ang gawain sa wrought iron. While cast iron is formed by remelting pig iron and other materials including limestone and prepared fluxes in a cupola furnaces. Pig iron is the first step, purified iron that casts mold. It resulted after the impurities in iron are burned out in a blast furnace. Furnace is an enclosed structure in which heat is produced. And there are 4 categories of cast iron. Ito yung gray cast iron, nodular cast iron o ductile, or also known as ductile cast iron, white cast iron, malleable cast iron. Ang gray cast iron is most common type of iron currently produced, features in everything from manhole covers and yung sa mga disc brake of cars. And yung nodular cast iron is iron family offers the design engineer a unique combination of strength, wear and fatigue, resistance and toughness, as well as excellent ductility characteristic. And the Mach tensile strength of nodular iron is 19,000 pound per square inch, while ang white cast iron is hard and offers excellent resistance against abrasions. And lastly, the malleable cast iron, which is cast iron that easily workable. It is typically created using heat treatment process on white cast iron. The white cast iron is treated for up to 2 days, after which is cooled. When finished, malleable cast iron can be bent and manipulated to achieve unique shapes and sizes. Steel, under of steel, meron siyang plain carbon steel, low carbon steel, medium carbon steel, high carbon steel, very high carbon steel. Plain carbon steel is a very low content of alloying elements and small amounts of manganese. It is cold working, needed to improve the strength. And siya is good in weldability and machinability. While low carbon steel is not responsive to heat treatment, cold working needed to improve the strength. It is used as wire, structural shapes, screw machine, and ang kanyang content of carbon is less than 0.3%, while ang medium carbon steel is nagre-range siya sa 0.3 to 0.6 of carbon content, while it is low hardenability. Heat-treated alloys are stronger but have low ductility. It is used for making axles, gears, and similar parts, while high carbon steel is 0.45 to 0.75 carbon content. And high carbon content provides high hardness and strength. Used as tool and die steel owing to high hardness and wear resistant property. Kadalasan siyang ginagamit sa mga cutting tools and knife and drills. Last is very high carbon steel. It is nearly impossible to weld, machine, or shape due to its incredible strength and is therefore far less common than other types of carbon steel. Kadalasan siyang ginagamit sa metal cutting tools and truck spring and hard steel product. Ang kanyang content of carbon is nagre-range of 0.75 to 1.5%. Stainless steel, a group of steels that contain at least 11% chromium. Chromium is an element used to harden steel, exhibit extraordinary corrosion resistance due to formation of a very thin layer of chromium oxide. There are three categories of stainless steel: ferritic, martensitic, and austenitic. Ferritic is they contain a very low levels of carbon and high amount of chromium but little or no nickel. They are known for their ductility, corrosion resistance, and magnetic properties. It is used for turbine blades, and they contain 11% to 20% of chromium, while martensitic is non-nickel, higher carbon content, and ginagamit siya sa mga surgical instrument like forceps and different types of scissors. While last is austenitic. Stainless steel that contains austenite. It contains a high percentage of nickel and chromium, enhancing its ability to be formed and welded easily into any shape, along with providing great strength and resistance to corrosion. And austenitic steel is used in a wide range of industry like automotive, aircraft, cookware, food and beverages, equipment, industrial equipment. And sa table na ito, makikita natin which is pagtaas no carbon content is hardness, increases strength, and increases difficulty in machining and welding. But pagtaas ng carbon content is decreases the ductility. Non-ferrous metal, copper and copper alloys, the backbone of electrical industry, heavier than iron and high ductility, high corrosion resistance, high electric and thermal conductivity. And there are two types of copper and copper alloys. Ito is, number one is electrolytic tough pitch copper, which means as a minimum conductivity rating of 100% and is required to be 99.9% pure. And electrical wiring is the most important market for the copper industry. Number two is oxygen-free high conductivity copper. Is a copper material that has undergone electrolytic refinement to reduce the oxygen contained within to very low levels. Excellent corrosion resistance. Copper-based alloys. Copper zinc alloys. Brasses and good corrosion resistance, containing about 70% of copper and 30% of zinc. And ginagamit siya sa mga lock, plumbing, and electrical plug and socket. Makikita natin to sa ating mga tahanan gaya nung gripo, made siya sa brasses. Next, copper tin alloy. Bronzes, known resulting alloy of copper and less than 12% tin. Good strength, toughness, wear, and corrosion resistance. It is used ceiling or wall panels, furniture trim, and ship hardware. Heat treatment treatment of metals. Nickel. Wrought nickel are used in industry, has mechanical properties similar to those of mild steel. It is one of the toughest of metallic materials. And there are three categories of nickel. Ito yung Inconel, which has 79.5 nickel, 0.2 copper, 13% chromium, 6.5 iron, and small amount of silicon and manganese. And it is non-magnetic at all temperature above 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Next is Invar, 30% nickel as a very low coefficient of heat expansion, making it useful for measuring equipment like caliper. Monel, 67% nickel and 30% copper. Aluminum alloy, two general classes of alloys is one steels which can be hardened and strengthened only by cold working, and number two, steel which can be heat treated to obtain the optimum mechanical properties. The corrosion resistant properties of aluminum are chiefly due to formation of a tough adherent oxide on the surface. Heat treatment of aluminum alloys, magnesium alloys, beryllium, lead, tin, titanium, zinc, and other miscellaneous alloys. And letter H is babbitt. It is a tin or lead-based material suitable for bearings and for making die casting. And beryllium are light materials with young modulus 50% greater than those for steel. They have high specific heat and relative high corrosion resistance. Hastelloys are molybdenum nickel iron alloys which exhibit very high corrosion resistance and are suitable for use in precision casting. Mnemonic, nickel, chromium, titanium, manganese, silicon, wrought alloys exhibiting high strength at elevating temperatures. Solder, low melting temperature, lead tin alloys in common use for bonding together, wiping and coating metallic parts. Ito yung kadalasan nating nakikita pag naghihinang yung mga electronics. Next. Stellite, cobalt, chromium, nickel, manganese, silicon cast alloys having high strength at elevated temperatures. They difficult to machine and not easily welded. They are excellent for cutting tools for many machining operations. Titanium, lightweight, high-strength materials with good corrosion resistance, and ginagamit siya sa missiles, aircraft, and elevated pumps. Zamac, used in die and sand casting, intricate shape exist automotive carburetors and toys. Tungsten carbide, extremely hard but brittle material, has abrasion-resistant surface. Kadalasan siyang ginagamit sa engraving tools molybdenum,